Hi guys, it's Luke from your 50 Shades of Sales podcast. Before each episode, we just wanted to warn our listeners that there may be some swear words or choice language used in any one of our episodes. It's not intentional, we don't mean it to offend, but we wanted to forewarn each of our listeners. Please do enjoy. Hello, my name is Luke Robinson and I'm your host on this 50 Shades of Sales podcast series. For those of you who don't know, this is where we'll be giving you a no-holds-barred alternative view of the challenging yet rewarding life as a sales development representative. Now, in this episode, we're going to be discussing just how tough life can get in the first couple of years in your sales career, but if you stick in there, what opportunity awaits for you after life as an SDR. Now, joining me at the beginning of our podcast journey today are some of my longest serving Durham Lane colleagues which I've also worked alongside in other businesses who now, like myself, for example, who is known as a sales performance consultant, find themselves in more senior commercial roles within the business. Now, I have Tony Usher, who's our regional sales manager, and I have Dan Roberts, our director of quality, assurance and customer success. Try getting that on a business card. How are we?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Excellent. Now, I've gathered you two specifically for this podcast, knowing the slightly unconventional routes I suppose that we've all taken to get to where we are, and to hopefully take a humorous look back at our sales careers so far, because, you know, we've worked in call centres together, we've worked on ridiculous contracts together, and I just wanted to start with what have been the standout, most cringy or uncomfortable and outrageous moments that you've experienced in your sales career so far, or even in your career, to be honest.
I think from my perspective, that there's never been one cataclysmic event. It's normally a series of small events that really make you learn and learn quick. So I remember really early on in my sales career, trying to get in touch with a CISO of a $300 billion a year company, tried relentlessly, email and LinkedIn, and just thought, screw it, I'll pick up the phone and try and get in touch with them, and absolutely crap my pants when he answered first time. But then within panicked, I was I just hung the phone up.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because that seems to be, in sales, the biggest shit your pants moment.
Yeah.
You're trained to get in touch with people, and then the moment that you actually get in touch with people panic and they don't know what to do.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, total kind of flabbergasted moment and freaked out, and I'm pretty sure I just hung up the phone and lo and behold, never managed to get in touch with him, I guess, again.
And what was the position of the guy you were going after?
He was the Chief Information Security Officer of a $300 billion a year company. So
would you say that you got in your own head before the call as well?
Yeah, I think in your early stages, mindset in sales plays a big part of it, whether it's your product knowledge, or whether you're just nervous, or whether you're in a big office sitting around people who, I think you're pretty convinced they're all judging you, whereas in reality, nobody really gives a shit. They're just getting on with their own job and doing what they want to do.
I just tell our guys and girls now, you're going to have the phone for you.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
It's crazy, isn't it, that a job that involves mainly the telephone, you're going to be scared of it.
You can set people up, you can say, this is what we do, this is how you're going to do it, this is the methodology, yada, yada, yada. And you can do that for as long as you want, but the minute they lift that receiver, you can't see them shaking, but
yeah,
shitting themselves.
Absolutely. And I had Johnny on a podcast the other week as well, and he said, or we discussed actually, that when you take your first sales call around, the room just seems to go that little bit quieter, and everybody is waiting for you to make that first call. In terms of outrageous moments for yourself, Dan, you've probably got a few, right?
Mine have never been an execution, and
everyone goes back to that though as well, don't they?
I've never personally had a problem on the phone or picking up the phone, and never really felt all that uncomfortable doing so. Some of mine, though, were when we went to Southampton, when Durham Lane opened up a southern office. Opened Southampton because it was an easy flight and supposedly easy access into London. It wasn't. But yeah, that was a few years ago, and formative in our careers, Tony and I, go and be these regional sales managers down south. And we got ourselves a little office and got set up and set to it without much rhyme or reason or strategy really. And Lee Durham came and visited us one time, and was asking about our pipeline and conversations that we had. And was really, you know, we used whiteboards, we track opportunities on the whiteboards and bloody. And Tony and I didn't have one, and he gave us a bit of a pasting for it. And we were young, and we'd do as we're told. All right, with Tony, we lived together as well while we were down there. Next time we'll have a bloody whiteboard. We'll have all our pipeline on it, and it'll be great. So we did it and got this little 4-foot whiteboard, really proud of it, proceeded to write our pipeline on in prep for Lee's next visit. And he came down, and what was he like?
It still makes me cringe thinking about it.
He just tore it apart. It was worse than not having one. Why is this deal only at this stage? Why are you speaking to them? They're a bunch of losers. They're a bunch of... It was just... And actually, most of my uncomfortable moments centre around Lee Durham. Sorry if you're listening, Lee. But remember when we presented our commits for the next financial year?
Yeah.
So, again, another leadership session. And we all got together, Crown Plaza in Newcastle, and just planning and strategising for the next financial year. And we had a couple of board members with us, big wigs, right, really experienced in business and strategy and whatever else. Tony and I were doing the new business budget, and you know, we knew we were presenting this to Richard Lane and particularly to Lee Durham. New business is kind of his baby at Durham Lane. And we made it really ambitious, Tony. We're going to do 600 grand next financial year. Me and you will conquer the south. Bloody blah, and pumped ourselves up to deliver.
Where did you plug £600,000 from?
It was based on...
I think we've done 30 grand in 6 months. So.
It was based on a lot of data, and it wasn't. It really wasn't.
Anyway.
So ahead of presenting this, one of our non-exec directors sat us down, and we were talking through the thought process. You know, we've done 30 grand in 6 months. That must mean we'll do 600 grand next year. No,
That's good math.
And you know, being very experienced, clearly she challenged that and advised that as a member of the board, she thought it was more realistic about 150. And we were like, there's no way that Lee will accept that. Definitely not. Anyway, she talked us down 20 minutes and assured us that, look, I sit on the boards, I'll fight your corner, I'll back that number, I've had influence on it, alright, fair enough. Proceeded to present the number to Lee and Richard, and again, what was it like?
I just wanted to curl up and die or throw myself out of the 8th floor. It was just the worst.
And I won't try and impersonate Lee Durham and do his reaction, but blasted us for another 20 minutes.
The hairdryer treatment.
Hairdryer, laughed us out of the room and off the stage. And what was worse is the non-exec director who'd influenced all this and talked us down from the type of number he wanted us to be at, just sat there mute.
Let it happen.
Yeah, like God's sake.
So it was an execution in itself, but not via the telephone.
No, not via the telephone, via Lee Durham.
But learning experiences nonetheless, right? Because if you start out in your sales career and you just picking up the telephone and that's what people perceive as sales, to then be part of forecasting meetings, to be presenting in front of the board, to be looking after your own budget, to be setting yourself targets, to getting yourself a bloody good whiteboard, right? You know what I mean? This is all the journey or the things that people can expect ahead of them. That beyond your SDR role, it will get a little bit better, or in your case, a little bit worse and more difficult.
But it's right though, isn't it? There's so much infrastructure and thought and planning, and that goes into
the day-to-day
sales as a function.
So much thought and planning goes into what you complain about while you just sat on the telephone as well. Yeah. So all these types of things, and I've had a couple of almost fuck it moments, right? I say that I have them every maybe 1 or 2 years, but when in your
1 or 2 years.
okay, months. When in your sales careers did you ever think, you know what, I just can't do this?
Can I tell mine first? Because
Yes.
I won't be able to upstage yours. I was like Durham Lane's employee number 3.
Yeah.
Way back in like 2012 when we were absolutely nobody and working in a room about this big. Appreciate people can't see it, but it's not a very big room.
It's a small room.
Small room. Lovely room, but small. And we won a contract with a land drilling company. Sexy as that sounds.
You know what? I don't care what anybody says about that contract. It has one of the best logos. I think the logo is absolutely tops. Sorry to interrupt. I needed to say that.
It is good. But it was 3 days a week for 6 months. So a significant deal back in the day. So we really wanted to look after this customer, and Lee and Richard were heavily involved. And they're a family-owned business, right? And I was working it for a week. And they got their knickers in a twist because I hadn't created any opportunities.
What, just for 1 week?
Just from 1 week, which we'll sit here and say is ridiculous now, but remember, we'd never done this before, really, and I never knew what to expect. So they thought, which Lee and Richard backed, that it would be a great idea if I worked on site for this company. Family-owned business, good company, good people, but I remember, and I don't drive, for those who don't know, so 3 days a week, I sat on a bus for 25 minutes, got dropped off in the middle of County Durham, in just a small village, walked, and this is not a lie, for 2 miles, up country lanes, farmers' fields, blah-de-blah-de-blah, in the middle of winter, and then arrived and was working on a construction site, really, big land drilling rigs everywhere, in porta cabins.
Essentially a side box,
yeah. Just ridiculous. And for 6 months I did that, and many times I thought, this might not be for me. What was worse, when I was walking up those country lanes, the drillers used to drive past me in
knowing who you were,
company vans, knowing who I was, and wouldn't fucking stop and pick me up.
Outsider, mate. you're an
this young pup.
You're an outsider. Okay, I think that's a good enough reason to stop.
It's a total baptism of fire, though, isn't it?
But yours, though, Tony. It's a baptism of fires.
Mine's referred to company-wide, I guess, for those that know, as the blip. So pretty embarrassing. And I guess the easiest way to describe how that happened is my venture into sales is purely on my time served here with Durham Lane. So in describing how I led to that, I generally use the term kill stuff, cut stuff, sell stuff. So armed forces hairdressing to B2B sales. Anyway, been with Durham Lane for really short space of time, less than a month. Put onto a brand new project with just little to no experience, and like Dan, thought it would be a good idea to go and work from the client's office. And the first day that I was due to go there, I remember leaving our office doors, just totally filled with panic and fear and dread, and just thought, I'm going home. So I did. I just got on the metro and went home. Didn't text or email anybody.
What did you do when the doors of the metro stopped and opened at the station you were meant to get on?
Well, as it turns out, you can't.
Were you in turmoil?
Well, funnily enough, you can't get the metro there. I think I told people that, and no one had corrected me. So just assumed that was the case. So yeah, left, got on the metro, and just went home. And when I remember getting in and ringing my best mate, and just thought, I fucked up. Like, really, just the panic overcame me. So about 3 hours later, I had the balls to return the call to Lee and Richard, who were just like, what's happened? And came back the next day with my tail between my legs, apologised, and begged for forgiveness. And 6 years later, still here.
Yeah, still here. now advanced in our roles. I'd say probably all three of us.
Yeah, sure.
Very different roles in their own titles. Mine very different. Never really thought about myself as a sales trainer. Always a performer, which I think wise naturally I got pushed into that direction. And you know, baptism of fire we always talk about, and I think pretty much any career path, particularly within sales, there is that baptism of fire moment. I was put onto with a big accountancy software. Well, pretty much it's Sage, right? we always say hide what it is that you're saying, the clients that you talk about, customer-centric sales program for all of the inside sales function, all of the field salespeople. Watch Richard Lane do it for 2 days. For the other 6 weeks, go do it yourself. Right? And really, I think once I'd conquered that, okay, once I'd gone, you know what? Now I can deliver in front of anybody, right? And I think that for me was the penny drop moment in my career where I thought, you know what, line them up. Whoever you bring in here, no matter what the experience, I guarantee that I'll be able to work around and I'll be able to teach them something. I just wonder whether you guys had penny drop moments where you thought, you know what, I'm ready for the next stage, or I can definitely make a career out of this.
I think for me, as bizarre as it sounds, and having gone through what we've just spoke about, it was going into new business or being asked, you know, go down Southampton and kickstart the business down there. There's a few different moments really, whether it's winning your first qualified opportunity from, I guess, how we use that terminology internally, but to winning your first deal, you can go through a year's worth of pain, but when you win that first deal, in my role in finding new clients for Domain, it's just the best ever. And you can go through 12 months of shit to get there, but if you can stick it out, I guess as we all have, you then start to get the buzz and the passion and just think, you know what, this is brilliant. I really like this and really want to do it. Yeah.
So one of our colleagues, Will, he approached me the other week, and he's venturing into doing some more more business development for our organisation, and he spent his time for about a year and a half as your typical inside sales SDR, and he actually asked me the question. He went, you know when you close a deal and you know the commission's coming, what does that feel like? like it was some magical feeling, and you know what? It kind of is. It's a little bit addictive.
Yeah.
It's a little bit addictive. It's a little bit, my zip is getting tight at the moment, but it's. I said I can't really describe it, but it is nice to know that it's coming.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that the work that you've done takes you to that point. Listen, Dan, you've worked all around the world in sales.
Yeah.
Right, as far as New Zealand.
Yeah.
Penny drop moments for yourself? Was it in this country, in that country, or how did it happen?
I think for me, I went through a university, business and marketing degree, and just had it drummed in. I think all graduates that you must get a graduate job. You have to get a graduate job. You need to get on a scheme. Blah blah blah. And I did. I got on a graduate scheme with what was Europe's largest commercial print company, Gay & Sexy. They're in administration now, nothing to do with me. But I was promised the world, right? As I'm sure a lot are on these schemes, and just didn't deliver. I remember one time I was sat with the CEO and CEO of that business, and I'd applied to help the factory with some health and safety, like be the guy, like I'm the fire marshal here, right?
You wanted to get yourself a high vis.
Yeah, I wanted a high vis, absolutely. And they scoffed at it. They said, the health and safety guy at your site won't even know who you are. And I said to the CEO, do you know my surname? And he couldn't answer me. And at that moment, I just thought, sod this.
Yeah.
Paths crossed with Richard Lane when I was looking for a new position up in Newcastle. And I don't know if I've had a penny drop moment, but I think I'm still learning every day, and I feel valued and challenged, and I have loads of highs and some lows, which we've talked about a bit today. But I think for me, it's always been, if I'm learning, if I'm challenged and motivated, then that's enough.
Yeah.
Kind of a non-answer, not a penny drop moment, but...
No, I get what you're saying. Actually, I continually have these penny drop moments. It's almost it's to reaffirm that I am still doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So, you'll go through standard training programs, you'll go through good ones, you'll go through bad ones, you'll have challenging delegates, but then you have that one speaking moment that's in front of 80 plus people where you think, woo, this is why I'm doing it. So I still get those continual penny drop moments, I suppose.
I think
Where'd your voice go there, Dan?
most businesses always look forward, and we do. We're in strategy and budget mode for next financial year, but certainly for us, if you look backwards and think about where we started in Durham Lane and where we've gotten to now, it's like canny amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, where we've been, where we went to, where we're going to, that experience has been unbelievable. Stressful at times, right? But for somebody just starting out in their sales career, what would you give, or what advice would you give somebody just starting out who might have even been in the role for 6 months and can't really see the wood for the trees? I mean, it's a big question.
It is a big question. I think just be realistic with what you're looking to achieve earlier on in your career. We see a lot. We interview a lot of varying ages, but we interview a lot of young people, and a lot of them, I hate the term millennials, but a lot of them just want the world now at their feet. They expect that progression to be happening within a month, within 2 months.
And I think some of the sales grad programs have got a lot to answer for that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Expectations of what I should be by the time I get out. I've got a mate who works here who's got a company car.
Yeah.
Well, so.
Yeah.
Go and work there.
Do you know what? It comes back to both your points though about the fact we're all still learning here, and we are fortunate enough to work in a business that really gets on board with that and nurtures people and talent, because regardless of your business, people are your biggest asset. And I think if any young person in the early part of the sales career, I just think be patient, but of course you need a plan and have an idea of what you want to achieve, but realistically that's not going to happen tomorrow. You need to really work hard on it, and the rewards will come as and when.
You just taking that as a figure, how many years has it taken you to get to where you are?
So it's my 60th anniversary in about 4 weeks.
Yeah. How many years in total outside of Durham Lane and all the sales roles that we've ever had?
Yeah. Well, I still don't think I'm where I want to be, but where I am now, 7 odd years. 7
odd years. I'd probably go back to maybe 12.
Yeah, if you include
if you include the call centre, that grounding, however awful it was, it does set you in good stead. It does then give you an idea of well, I kind of like the sales element, but not that side of it. What else can I be doing?
Yeah.
Learning experiences right throughout. So, in terms of advice,
I think mine would be you don't have to be an extrovert. We talked at the outset of this about the phone fear and some of the preconceived ideas of what a good salesperson has to be and has to do. And I think a lot of people are probably put off getting into our industry because they don't feel like a natural Luke Robinson showman type, that type of...
he's the born salesman. He could send sand in the desert. Yeah.
And you don't have to be. I'm not. I'm quite introverted actually by nature.
Monday to Friday.
Yeah. All right.
We'll do a company trips one next time.
I can't remember any of them. You don't have to be an extrovert. You can be successful in our industry. Pretty much whoever you are, as long as you put in the right amount of effort, got a good attitude about what you do, and you display some aptitude, you think, you change, you adapt.
Okay. Now, I often talk to people in a lot of my sessions and say, belief in your product, your service, your solution is absolutely key, because no one wants to buy from someone who doesn't believe in what they're selling. But you also have to believe that sales is the right career path for you as well, or the company that you're working for is the best possible place for you to start. You mentioned, Mr. CEO, do you even know my surname? No?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This isn't the place for me. And I think really, once you know where you want to go, or the company that you find where you go, you know what, I can get to where I want to be using this business, then that's the place to start. Now, it's a tough game. That's why so many people quit the role each year. However, although tough, I think we can probably all speak for the career in itself, or sales in itself, that it's a pretty rewarding career.
Yeah.
Can be financially, but I think from experience and dealing with the people and, you know, getting people to where they want to be and helping people along that way in the various different roles that we've had, I think it's an absolutely brilliant place to start. Now, all I would say is stick in, because it definitely gets better. That's that, you know, stick in because it definitely gets better. Okay. Thank you both for coming in. Hopefully, again, there's some good nuggets of information for you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.